Hello and welcome back. We're continuing chapter 5th, Footprints Without Feet, written by H.G. Wells. And today I'm going to start from where I left you last time. So here we go. Eager to get away from crowded London, he took a train to the village of Iping, where he booked 2 rooms at the local inn. So before this, you came to learn how he set the house on fire and then spent the night in a big London store and then moved to a shop at Drury Lane, and there he used or the he used the stock of the shop, theatrical shop, and while leaving it, attacked the owner and took away the money. So, as he was desperate to to move out of the city because the police was after him, so he took a ticket to the village of Iping, and there he booked 2 rooms at a local inn, at a local hotel, a village hotel. So, and that was obviously village hotel means obviously it would be a small kind of hotel. The arrival of a stranger at an inn in winter was in any case an unusual event. A stranger of such uncommon appearance set all tongues wagging. So it was a time of the year when generally people don't come out of the houses, and here he came he came to this village, to this inn, to stay there for some time, and this was unusual because that was the slack time of the business. That was slack time for the business, and usually no guest, no customer would come. And here, the owner had received a guest from the town, that too from London. Unusual kind of experience, unusual kind of thing. Secondly, the appearance was unusual, was uncommon, was unpleasant, and that caused people of the village to talk about this man. A stranger of such uncommon appearance set all tongues wagging. Mrs. Hall, the landlord's wife, made every effort to be friendly, but Griffin had no desire to talk, and told her, "My reason for coming to Iping is a desire for solitude." And as the wife of the owner of the inn, tried to be a friend, tried to be friendly with him, tried to go closer to him so that she could know more about him, his purpose, and also more about him. But then he realized that she was coming closer to him, and he declared, and he made it clear that his purpose of visiting, or his purpose of coming to this village, was to get solitude, so that he could receive, so that he could get solitude. Solitude means so that he could enjoy loneliness, and that he is not interested to talk to anybody. "I do not wish to be disturbed in my work. Besides, an accident has affected my face." He made it very clear that he didn't wish to be disturbed. He might be the case that he disclosed that he was a scientist and said that "I don't wish to be disturbed," and also informed her that also tried to clear the air, because he realized that people must be talking about his appearance, and so he said that, well, this appearance of his that appearance of his was due to an accident, and due to an accident that caused some kind of damage to his face, and that's why he covered it. Satisfied that her guest was an eccentric scientist, and in view of the fact that he had paid her in advance, Mrs. Hall was prepared to excuse his strange habits and irritable temper. Okay, now she was satisfied, since she came to know that he was a scientist, and that scientists are always kind of fellows, kind of people that want solitude, that wanted such people. Scientists always wish to remain at a secluded place, lonely place, and they don't want to be disturbed. So she realized that he's a mad scientist, as a peculiar scientist. He too wishes to be alone, and another fact was that since he had paid her in advance, the money was paid in advance, so she thought that, well, it's fine. The customer had paid her in advance, so she has nothing to complain about, and that's why she excused his behavior and temper. But the stolen money did not last long, and presently Griffin had to admit that he had no more ready cash, and that stolen money did not last long because he had to pay for the bills, food, and everything. The charges of staying at the hotel, or then paying for the food and other things. So the money did not last long, and then he had to admit it to the owner that he was having no more ready cash. He was not having cash in his hand. He pretended, however, that he was expecting a check to arrive at any moment, and he made him believe that he was waiting for a check to arrive, and that the check was going to arrive shortly, was going to arrive soon, and as he got the check, he would pay the dues. Shortly afterwards, a curious episode occurred. Very early in the morning, a clergyman and his wife were awakened by noises in the study. Shortly afterwards, maybe a day or two later, some strange event occurred. Strange event occurred, but not at the hotel, but at the neighborhood. Very early in the morning, a clergyman and his wife, both of them, clergyman and his wife, lived in the neighborhood, and they were awakened by, they were awakened by the noises in the study. There was some noises coming out of the study, and they were disturbed, and they were awakened from their sleep. Creeping downstairs, they heard the chink of money being taken from the clergyman's desk. Creeping downstairs, as they moved downstairs stealthily, secretly, without causing any kind of alarm, without raising any kind of alarm, they heard the chang, the sound of the coins being taken from the clergyman's desk. That was the coins, or the money, whatever was there, that was kept in the desk, and the noise of the thing being removed, the money being removed from there, came. Without making any noise, and with the poker grasped firmly in his hand, the clergyman flung open the door. Surrender. Okay, so without causing any kind of alarm, raising any kind of alarm, they moved secretly, and he had a poker in his hand, a rod, you can say, something to stir fire. So, or say simply say a rod or a stick in his hand. He gripped it firmly and moved towards the study. Then he plunged open the door, pushed the door open, and announced surrender. He said surrender. Then, to his amazement, he realized that the room appeared to be empty. He and his wife looked under the desk and behind the curtains and even up the chimney. So, they were amazed. He flanged open, he pushed the door open and found that there was no one inside the room. They checked everything, everywhere. For a man, they checked under the desk, behind the curtains, and even up the chimney. They checked everywhere. They looked for someone everywhere, for that man everywhere, but there was no trace. No one was there, and that was quite extraordinary thing, quite puzzling. Uh, there wasn't a sign of anybody yet. The desk had been open and the housekeeping menu was missing. And yet, although there was no one in the house, no sign of a man, anybody in the room yet. The drawer of the desk where the housekeeping money, the money for the purpose of the house, day-to-day need of the house, was gone, was missing. Extraordinary affair, the clergyman kept saying for the rest of the day, and for the entire day. There was only one word in his mouth, and that was extraordinary affair. Every now and then he repeated the same thing. But it was not as extraordinary as the behavior of Mrs. Hall's furniture a little later that morning. But in comparison to the incident that took place in Mrs. Hall's room, that was nothing. That was nothing. So, what said here, the way furniture in Mrs. Hall's room behaved abnormally and strangely, and everyone got puzzled. This is all for now. Thank you.